Good morning, friends, and welcome to the pre-market view. US markets were up about 0.2 to 0.7% as we had some positive data on the jobless claims and they fell to almost about 3,69,000. Also, European markets were up about 0.2 to 0.75%, and most of the policy rates have been left unchanged, particularly by the ECB and by the Bank of England. However, there was a statement coming out from the ECB president that the growth forecast for the Eurozone would be down to almost minus 0.3% as against the earlier expectations of about 0.5% growth. And this is the lowest growth forecast for the Eurozone that we have seen for 2013, which is a bit negative overall for the sentiment. And when we look at the Asian markets, most of them are marginally up about 0.3 to about 0.5%. In terms of flows, FIs were net buyers yesterday in the cash market to the tune of about 838 crore. Whereas the domestic institutions were sellers to the tune of about 665 odd crore. The Brent crude too has actually come down to almost 107 level. And back home our markets showed a lot of strength after the news came in that the Bahujan Samaj Party leader Mayawati has supported the government and she would vote in favor of the government on this FDI and retail proposal. So the chances have actually increased that the government will be able to get through this entire voting with majority, and it remains to be seen after this how many more important bills the government is able to clear, particularly with respect to the setting up of the investment board, the UDR policy, and even the issuances of banking license, which have been delayed to some extent. So the expectations have increased since the government has been able to manage this FDI part extremely well in Lok Sabha, and overall momentum in the market is extremely good. We've seen many banks actually hitting 52-week high. Banks like Axis Bank, Yes Bank, even ICICI Bank, and some of the PSU banking companies like State Bank of India, Bank of Baroda. We are seeing a lot of action in the mid-cap space as a whole. So the sentiment definitely has improved, and it remains to be seen how far it is reflected in the flows and how much more upside are we able to see over the next few days. And on that note, let me invite Shaival to take us through important F&O cues, open interest data, and the strategies that we could have in the F&O market. Hi Shaival, good morning.
Good morning.
We are seeing a lot of strength in the market. Yesterday also we saw the Nifty move past important levels. And what's your reading on the overall market scenario, and particularly with respect to the flows?
See, first of all, I'd like to draw your attention towards the FIS flow, because since we have seen that all through the FIS have been pumping money, but what we have seen in last two to three trading session is that the FIS on the futures and options segment were net seller by around say 1,000 crore. But the good news is that they've been continuously buying in the cash segment. So that has been one of the major supports for the market, and rather than international cues, domestic cues are the one which have been weighing in the market and has been trying to determine the direction of the market. As the PCR ratio is stable at 1.07, we need not worry about that. And from the day of expiry, we have started a December series, and we have not seen a single day where we have witnessed a reduction in the on the futures fund in Nifty. So probably that is a good sign for the market, and as our bias for the market is positive.
Also, if you can touch upon the important sectors where the major open interest built up has happened, where one can really look out for opportunities.
I would say that from past couple of trading sessions, banking has been outperforming the broader index Nifty as well as the other indices in the market, and we have seen that the strength has been continuing in the market. As soon as there is a dip in the market, banking is the one which provides the supports to the market and has a sharp up move. So banking and financials are the one where we have seen a good amount of open interest on the long side been built up in yesterday's trade. And power sector is also one which is looking pretty good, as good amount of long positions have been accumulated in yesterday's trade.
Okay, any particular stocks there you're looking at in power?
In power sector, NHPC's witnessed a good activity, followed by Reliance Power. So these are the two stocks which one can eye on. And from banking sector, especially PSU banks are looking very good.
Okay, and in terms of the important strikes in the Nifty, has there been any major open interest change?
No, there's not a major open interest change, but 5,900 call as well as put option from past couple of trading sessions we were seeing was continuously adding open interest. But yesterday's move in the market has done is 5,900 call option has reduced open interest and 5,900 put option has added open interest. And we have seen that during later part of the day from around 5,880 odd levels, market has bounced back sharply. So it has not closed below 5,900. So now that would be the important level for markets to watch on. And on higher side, what I would say is that if 6,000 is taken off on closing basis convincingly, then further it would open gates for higher targets.
Right. And any other interesting ideas that you can share with us?
From intraday perspective, we have identified 3 stocks. Adani Port is looking good. So we have rated 4 stars from derivative perspective, and one can maintain a support of 134 rupees 35 paisa. IOB is also looking good. As I said earlier that PSU banks are looking good, so we'd like to play on that. Support of 82 rupees 42 paisa can be maintained on that. And JSW Steel is looking good. 767 rupees 50 paisa is the stop loss which one can maintain to play with long bias.
Right, Sherwell, thanks a lot for that update.
Thank you.
Friends, here are the important news and events that we are tracking today. First of all, in Lok Sabha, as I discussed before, the position of the government has become more stronger as far as this FDI and retail vote is concerned in Rajya Sabha, and this voting is likely to take place at about 2:30 p.m. So we should have the final outcome by about 3:34 or so. And in terms of other developments, certain important decisions and bills which were to be taken up have been delayed, particularly with respect to setting up of the National Investment Board. The Prime Minister wants a more interministerial discussion on this matter. So there is a possibility that this may get a little delayed. Also, the urea policy which was to be taken up has also been delayed, and there were indications that the urea prices may not be allowed to be increased. And we had seen some buying interest in some of the urea stocks like Chambal Fertilizers, Rashtriya Chemical and few others. So this is a space that we will be closely watching out for. Also, the banking license part and the issuances of the new banking license which has been going around for a while, there might be some delay. We had already seen some action in companies like L&T Finance, JM Finance and some of the other ones where there are expectations that the banking license may be allotted, like Mahindra Finance. Some of these stocks have run up, so depending upon what happens, there could be some kind of a volatility in those stocks. Sharekhan has come out with an investment idea on Z Entertainment with a price target of about 255, and the key arguments here are that it is going to be the prime beneficiary of the digitization move which has happened. It has already been rolled out in 3 metro cities, and many more cities are going to be covered over the next few months, and because of this, Z would be the prime beneficiary of that. Also, its positioning in the market across the general entertainment channels has improved over the years, and the cash flow situation also we think that will improve by about 75% by 2015. And currently the stock is trading at about 23 times current year earnings and about 18.6 times next year earnings. So we think that given the positives which are there in terms of digitization, much better positioning and the improvement in the cash flow, the stock can give a target of about 255 over the next 12 months. Some positive news for the Indian domestic airline industry, as the companies will be allowed to both import and store the fuel at the state oil refineries, and this is positive for companies like SpiceJet and Jet Airways, so one can go long on these 2 stocks. Raymond has entered into energy drink space, which is a very small market, actually about 200 crore, but is looking at introducing a few more products in such niche categories. So one can go long on Raymond with the stop loss of 461 and a target of about 484 to about 493. And Heritage Foods, which is into retail and dairy products, is looking at hiving off its retail business into a separate company, and is trying to rope in a strategic investor for that business. So one can go long on Heritage Foods with a stop loss of 500 and a target of about 526 to 537. GMR, there are negative news as the Singapore court has ruled in favor of the Malé Airport Authority, and the award or the compensation that GMR would possibly get would be relatively less as the company has not won the case in the Singapore court. So bit negative for GMR. One can go short there with a stop loss of 20.20 and a target of about 19.20 to about 18.75. That's it from all of us, friends. Have a great weekend ahead and see you on Monday morning.